Good afternoon, Hawksbee and Jacobs here on TalkSport. Goff and Adrian here at 4. You've just been hearing, but joining us now in the studio is Talk Radio presenter, broadcaster and Aston Villa fan, friend of the show, Jonny Gould. Jonny, good to see you.
Paul, Andy, a very good afternoon.
Thanks for coming in.
Nice to be here.
It is World Mental Health Day today, and you join us to tell a kind of personal story with a sporting flavour.
It is indeed. We have set up a mental health campaign called Strike a Boy. It is a tribute to the life of Jonny Zucker. Jonny was a children's author who, about a year ago, very suddenly and tragically took his own life. He sought counselling and all sorts of other help from Mind, the charity. So myself and a friend called Nigel Cannin put our heads together, no pun intended, and put together an idea which would support Mind with future research and also in aiding this, so that this sort of tragedy would become less and less, but also to remind people that it is no longer a taboo to talk about mental health, and that maybe it's time to treat it like physical health.
I mean, it is a tragic story. I was just reading the obituary of Jonny, and, you know, it's like so often in these cases, you know, had a family, had 3 sons, you know, it's always inexplicable to the people that are left behind.
He was consistent, he was a good father, a good son, a good husband, a happy marriage. 90% of the time he functioned very well. He had a huge personality, and he was a very touching author. This book, Strike a Boy, is, and by the way, every book that we sell, £1.40 of the fund goes to Mind. It's £7, great Christmas present, plug over. It is actually the relationship between a father and a son. The son is 13 years old, is a world-class footballer, pretends he's 17, and manages to keep Hatton Rangers in the Premier League. We should have signed him down the Villa. And it's a lovely story because in this fiction, Nat Dixon, the name of the main character, and his father come from travelling around the world in the wake of the death of Nat's mother and the father's wife. So there are other pretexts to this which are now added to by male suicide, the biggest killer of men under the age of 50. So there are a lot of men's issues, which is why I was so keen to come to Hawksbee and Jacobs and talk about this to our audience, about this very specific issue.
Yeah, and Jonny
on this
also
day.
very much a lover of football, an FA qualified coach, avid Arsenal fan, so, you know, definitely will be resonant with the TalkSport audience.
Yeah, it was. He loved football. We used to have this ridiculous game, which actually manifested itself in some of the fiction. We, for fun, and we laughed so hard at this, me and Jonny, we renamed footballers for the hell of it. So we decided that Tony Adams could equally be called Ian Sutton. It's just a funny game. We decided that Gabriel Agbonlahor could be Jermaine Gale.
Yeah,
you know, so we just played this on and on. We laughed so hard at this, coming up with individual names. So we always thought of Ian Sutton. Some of their names ended up in the book. Kelvin Bartlett's mine. Emmy Adeo is one of his teaching assistants.
It's very hard to come up with, because we're so familiar, it's very hard to come up with fictional footballers' names. It's quite difficult. I mean, as you said,
Kevin Bartlett's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, but none of them sound quite right, do they? But they do and they don't. You know, they should do. There's no reason why they shouldn't.
Well, what was lovely is the manager in Hatton Rangers in this book is Ian Fox, and his assistant is Stan Evans, which was one of mine. That was Jim Smith.
Yeah, Stan.
So he was a slightly older, you know, right-hand man,
Smith.
like the Ginger Warrior at West Bromwich Albion, Gary Megson there with Tony Pulis.
Yeah.
He's not ginger anymore, is he?
No,
you know, time is a great wither.
Time erodes that.
So
you're of course a big Villa fan. I've actually asked you and your brother, of course, how did that come about? Do you come from the area?
I'm from Birmingham. Yeah, as is Ash. And our grandfather came to Birmingham and set up a typewriter store. He was a Viennese man, played for Hakoah Vienna. David Bolkover has written a beautiful book about Bella Gutmann, who was teammate of my grandfather and great uncle. Yeah. And he came to Birmingham, set up a typewriter store. That was what he was a mechanic of before the age of the computer. His shop was next to Aston High Street. The rest is history. Love the Villa.
The genes, football, were you any good when you were younger?
I took after his ability to talk rather than to play.
Okay.
He was strong. He came from a different generation, born in 1904. All those brothers, they were tough, they were strong, they fought Nazis. Thank God I could be fatter than him and just talk about the game rather than have to fight for it.
And people who know your brother Ash from James Wales, worked with James, and of course with you. So is Ash a decent footballer? Is he any good?
Well, he says he is. He talks a good game. And he would give a tremendous after-the-match interview, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would be. He'd be good.
That was a good game, man. All right, man. That sort of thing.
Does he do an impression of you? That's a pretty good one.
Not as good as mine. Actually, of him.
Yeah.
I think mine trumps it. But he pretends to talk like he's on university channels like that. That's not very good, is it?
So we've got the Villa this weekend. TalkSport 5:30 at Molineux. Wolves versus Villa. But things are picking up. As we kept saying, they'll be all right when Codger gets back. Sure enough, now Codger's back. They're looking a bit better, aren't they?
And we have a new song down the whole 10 where John Terry never gives the ball away.
Yeah.
And partners James Chester. Suddenly John Terry's hobby is now a profession. He's right up for it. Codger has made the difference. Jimmy Danger, as has Robert Snodgrass. I noticed in the victory at Barnsley, the win at Burton Albion, that Villa have that critical edge in Premier League quality, and that when perhaps the game isn't going for us, as so often in the ebb and flow of normal games, it doesn't, we can carve open an opportunity. And when Steve Bruce says we want to take on the division, I know exactly what he means. Now we can have an ambition of genuinely winning every game. Gone are the days of drawing 0-0 at home to Middlesbrough, drawing 0-0 at home to Brentford. Bruce out. What's he doing? I hated all that.
Yeah.
All that
No,
noise.
they did the right thing.
They
keeping
did
him.
absolutely the right thing. The guy is a promotion specialist. And actually, Aston Villa is, I know I say this, we should never take this for granted. We're a Premier League club. We should be in the top flight. We have massive support. We are in the second city. And we do have that infrastructure to get us back, but you only have to look at Nottingham Forest, 14 years out of the top flight, 2 stars above their badge, European champions no longer. Leeds United, European Cup finalists. How far away are they from the Premier League? They might say a season as well, but they've been gone a long time, and they even went down to the third tier. Watford, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Burnley, Stoke, all sorts of clubs in the Premier League. Do we belong there? Yes, the hell we do.
Fair enough.
Johnny, lovely to see you as always. People can,
My pleasure. Thank you.
if they can raise money for mine through Striker Boy, they can tell us where they can buy Striker Boy.
Strikerboy.com. It is literally a stocking filler, £6.99, £1.40 to charity. And you can follow us at Striker Boy Book.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you
brilliant.
so much, boys.
Good to
Thanks
see you,
for your
Johnny.
support.
All the best. Thanks very much for coming in. It's Hawksbee and Jacobs here on TalkSport.